Today, I'm gonna be showing you 5 hidden overpowered weapons that you can find in Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. We are gonna be looking at a great selection of weapons that could come in really handy for a build or that are just simply interesting to use and try. These items are scattered around the game and are not RNG dependent to get, so you can put your silver scarab aside for now. I will be showing you exactly where to find each and every one of them, so if you follow my directions exactly, it is literally impossible to miss them. To start off, we have the Sword of Darkness and the Sword of Light respectively. They both deserve a single spot just because they are two sides of the same coin. I mean literally, you can switch between them whenever you feel like it. It's a 2-in-1 deal situation that you can't miss out on. Before you get any of the versions, you're gonna need the stone sheathted sword. To get this, you're gonna head to the main gate plaza, head left down the corridor, take a right here at the stairs. You're gonna keep going further until you reach this whole room. After you here, you're gonna head left and then go right and straight forward. There's gonna be a bunch of shadow militia guys trying to kill you, but you can avoid them. They're really easy to just run around. After you climb down this ladder, head through the waterfall. Make sure not to fall in this hole. Then head left and hit the imaginary wall that's here. I already hit it on my playthrough, but there's gonna be a wall there, just make sure to hit it. After that, you're gonna reach this coffin, just interact with it and it's gonna teleport you to the next area. Once you're down here at the grace, just go forward. There's gonna be like a crumbled building, castle thingy, and there's gonna be a big furnace golem guarding it. You can just climb up on the building on my left, throw a hefty furnace pot, activate it, and then it's just gonna go out the way. And there you have it. This is where the stone sheathed sword is. I already picked it up, so let's move on to the next step. To turn the stone sheathed sword into the Sword of Darkness, you're gonna head to the castle front, make your way over slowly to the Fog Rift catacombs and just follow my path. From the Side of Grace, you're gonna head left and then straight. Just watch out for the guillotine that falls from the ceiling. After you pass it, head to the right. There's gonna be a wizard on the top of that bridge. Just avoid it. Don't forget to get your Fulgur Broom. After that, head left. There's gonna be a little imp shooting a bazooka at you, but you can just ignore it. Wait for that guillotine to go back up and then avoid it by going to the room in the back. Keep making your way forward. Hop on that elevator and keep going forward. There's gonna be a couple of imps here. You can just avoid them, but I chose to kill them as they have really low HP. After that, head left and down the stairs. You're gonna come across this big hallway. Do try your best to avoid all these guillotines. You can just follow my exact steps to avoid them all perfectly. There's gonna be a couple of tough enemies here, but I think you can handle them pretty well. Head in this cubby hole, go up, wait for it to fall down again, jump on it, and go back where you came from. When you reach the end of the hallway, head right. You're gonna come across this altar. Slowly edge walk towards it, interact with it, and you're gonna get the legendary Sword of Darkness. I love the design this weapon has on it, being further expanded upon by the item description, and I am astonished by these really sick black flame particles that pop out of enemies when you attack. This is definitely the superior version of the two swords. It has much better AoE coverage, damage, and even the passive buff is better. The Ash of War, Darkness, raises the sword aloft and cleaves surroundings with darkness. The 360-degree coverage it provides is just dramatic. It's a literal panic button when you find yourself surrounded. Also, the poise you get from casting this skill that starts right when you lift your weapon into the air is incredible for dishing out an insane amount of damage while not caring at all who is in your presence. Overall, this is an amazing sword for any holy damage or faith build in general, really earning it the status of legendary weapon. Now let me show you where you can get this weapon's counterpart, the Sword of Light. To start off, you're gonna wanna head to the raw ancient ruins west, summon Thorin, and head forward and up the stairs. Avoid these little projectiles, shouldn't be too hard. Head right and then forward. Take the right exit. There's gonna be a tough enemy here, but you can avoid it. Keep going forward until you reach this rot lake. Don't die or live on 1 HP like I did. Keep heading forward. There's some dappled white cured meat there, and some smithing stones that are really useful, and I do recommend picking them up. When you get here, there's gonna be an invincible bridge. You can just ride it, go straight forward. You can already see the altar there. Pop off torrent and interact with it. If you have the stone sheathed sword, you're gonna get the Sword of Light. This is pretty much the exact same weapon as before, but it gets a different Ash of War. Sadly, despite how cool it looks, it has less AoE coverage damage, and the buff isn't that good either. 20% to your holy damage is something, especially since it's not tied to the weapon. Once you cast the weapon art, you get plus 20% holy damage for 60 seconds. The bad part about it is that it cannot stack with other buffs of the same type, making the 20% holy damage resistance thread of the Sword of Darkness way better. Simply because there are just so many ways to give yourself buffs in this game, but there are only a few debuff sources that you can literally count on the fingers of one hand. I will say that it does look amazing though. I always felt like the base game was missing just a straight bright white looking weapon. You bet you can do some pretty amazing fashion souls with it. At number 4, we're gonna be taking a look at the Dancing Blades of Rana. To get these, you're gonna head to the Cerulean Coast, then slowly make your way to Cerulean Coast West and follow my instructions. Once you're here, you're gonna wanna drop down the ledge, use all the platforms to make sure you don't die, and then head straight forward. There's gonna be a giant lobster here. You can take care of it like I did or just run past it. Once you're done with that, keep heading forward in this tunnel until you come up on 2 small islands. After that, head to the right and climb up. Stick to the left side and you should see a little house that is almost impossible to miss. Once you get in it, there's gonna be a mini boss fight that drops the weapon. These paired curved swords are just insane. Curved swords are usually pretty weak on their own, so you're pretty much always gonna wanna grab another one so you can dual wield them. What makes them so OP is their B scaling and dexterity. This weapon's damage doesn't cap until about 80 dexterity, so you can level it up and your damage will increase up until that very point. Another benefit of curved swords is that pretty much every single attack that they can perform is multi-hit. This means they pair extremely well with the rotten winged sword insignia and Millicent's prosthesis. If you can poise through your opponent's attacks, this weapon will literally shred through them. No other weapon in the game can dish out this many consecutive strikes for this long. Pair this with the Iron Jar automatic and you become unironically an unstoppable force. Even more than this, they only weigh 3.5 units, and the Dancer set, which boosts this weapon's damage, is extremely light. This means that if you run these two combined, you can equip the Blue Dancer charm, which will just skyrocket your damage. In case you don't know what it does, it boosts your damage the lower your equip load is. If you're looking for a fancy dexterity weapon, this is definitely meant for you. At number 3, we have the Ancient Meteoric Ore Greatsword, which is quite possibly the best colossal sword in the game. To get it is fairly simple. You're just gonna wanna head down this entrance, down the ladder, you take no damage if you fall, and you're gonna get to the bonfire. I mean, Grace. Once you're here, head forward and then right on this little bridge. There's gonna be a lever here, then go forward, avoid these enemies, then take a right. Watch out for the little dude behind you. Climb this ladder. Head forward and then right. Climb up this pile of rubble. Head to the corridor. Jump down on this bridge. Go forward and then left. There's gonna be a ladder here. Pull it. After that, head to the door that just opened and immediately pull the lever on your right. Then quickly sprint back and hop on the gate. Once you've done that, just go forward, interact with the furnace, and the Ancient Meteoric Ore Greatsword is all yours. At 54 strength and 50 arcane, you will get 883 AR in one hand and 952 two-handed. Even though it does split magic damage, you might as well ignore this since the magic damage is so low. I guess you could buff it with the magic scorpion charm, however it only increases the innate magic damage on the weapon and not the full damage produced by the weapon's skill. This immensely decreases the value of the talisman, as the innate magic damage this weapon does is rather low and the skill scales of your AR similar to the Ordovis's greatsword weapon skill. A really good and underrated talisman you can use enemies with it is the Spear Talisman, since this weapon has so many thrusting attacks. Don't even get me started on the high prior you get while performing any attack. That's a very strong feature of any colossal sword, and it is certainly not to be underestimated. The Ash of War launches you really far forward, stabbing your enemies and then following up with a decently sized AoE that does insane damage. For a colossal sword, this level of movement is just crazy, and combined with the damage it can dish out, you can definitely call it the best colossal sword in the entire game.
At number 2 we have the Blood Fiend's Arm.
To get it, you have to go to the main gate cross, just summon Torrent and head straight forward. Hug this little mountain path. You can just ignore any enemy. Once you're here, just go forward to this castle. Well, it's not technically a castle, but you get the point. Then we're gonna do some parkour. Get off Torrent. Head to the right. Then take a quick left turn. Right again, and go up this pillar. Once you're here, there's gonna be a bunch of bloodhound beasts. You're gonna wanna kill them all, and one of them will have the guaranteed Blood Fiend's Arm drop. I get that this might be a bit surprising, and at first I wasn't so sure if I should even show it to you guys because of how broken it is. Through vigorous testing, I found out that this weapon is just a straight up demon. Its special property to apply more bleed when performing heavy attacks is top tier for any arcane build. Just the sheer power of its charge attacks, similar to the meat cleaver situation, would be enough to steamroll through the game. Even after the huge nerfs, at 80 arcane you get about 204 bleed application with blood infusion. After the recent changes, it can take one more than one hit of any kind to apply bleed, but it just changed it from being undeniably broken and unfun to just being a silly little one-shot stick with Royal Knight's Resolve and the Axe Talisman. This is truly a no-brainer if you want to one-shot most bosses. I especially love the fact that it can be buffed in so many ways, like the Lords of Blood, Exaltation, the previously mentioned Axe Talisman, and the Physically that boosts charge attacks. If you haven't tried it yet, you are definitely missing out. The normal moveset is by all means usable, and it's important to not just spam one singular move, as it will get you killed more often than not. At number 1, to no surprise, we have the Euphoria. To get it, head to the Spiral Rise, head to the open door, avoid these attacks, keep going forward. You can kill this guy, so he doesn't attack you. I recommend doing that, and keep going down until you see these messages or just the staircase. After you're down, head to the broken railing, carefully place your jump down, drop down again, and again. Head left here and jump down on this statue. Then just jump down. Make sure to kill the guy that tries to stab you in the back. When you're here, try to jump to the window and not die. You're gonna make it back to Bellerat Tower Settlement. Don't let this giant scorpion kill you. Then head through the door on your right. Now you're gonna activate the elevator. I'm buffing up here because there's gonna be a tough enemy ahead. This is who I was talking about. If you're already over leveled, you can just fight him no problem, but keep in mind that if you aren't, he does an insane amount of damage, and you can just run past him without having to kill him. Then go down the stairs, activate the elevator and head down. Head forward towards those doors, then open them. And there you have it. Now you have the legendary Euphoria. Before the latest patch, it required 6 light attacks or 2 charged heavy attacks to gain the first buff, but it had to be done in a quick succession and the buff only lasted about 20 seconds. And for the second buff, you had to repeat the exact same process. As of the recent changes, it only requires 3 light attacks or 1 charged heavy attack. And also the buff now lasts for 30 seconds. The first stack just buffs your AI by 30, but your second stack does turn your Euphoria Vortex into a light beam attack, gives you 50 AR, and the attack lasts like 3 seconds longer, which obviously means just a huge damage increase. You can actually even turn and aim this skill, and you're not stuck to your initial position either. Overall, besides how absolutely insane this weapon looks, it can also decimate anything that it comes into contact with. It's unfortunate that you get it right before the last boss of the DLC, but I personally can't wait to go to New Game Plus and start a Euphoria only playthrough. But yeah, those are all the weapons that I have for you today. Let me know which one you enjoy using the most and which of them you think is the coolest. If I missed any hidden weapons that are really good, please let me know that in the comments below. I'd really appreciate that. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.